Is cholesterol harmful or harmless? Are eating eggs good for our health? What is keto diet? That's what we are going to talk on today. In the 1930s, before the World War II, the only saturated fat we consumed were the curries with added coconut milk for flavor and added fresh cow's milk in our tea. We ate red meat rarely. The affluent class of families bought New Zealand imported butter to eat with bread and for cooking purposes. Heart disease was non-existent then. The most common fatal non-communicable disease was double pneumonia. The only drugs available then was sulfadiazine and sulfadimidine. Ansel Keys, a biologist, launched the 7-country study in 1958 after exploratory research on the relationship between dietary pattern and the prevalence of coronary heart disease, considered a new disease in Greece, Italy, Spain, South Africa, Japan, and Finland. He put saturated fat on the map as a major cause of heart disease and was the first scientist to champion the health value of a Mediterranean-style diet. Because fat in the diet and cholesterol in the blood were believed to be linked, Keys began to investigate dietary fat and its connection to heart disease. He looked at data on fat consumption and heart disease from various countries and published the results in the famous 7-country study, which supposedly demonstrated a clear link between the amount of dietary fat consumed and the incidence of heart disease. Those countries eating the fattest also had the highest rates of heart disease. Keys had available to him reliable food consumption data from 22 countries, but he used only 7. By hand selecting the 7 countries that supported his preconceived hypothesis, Keys was able to make a convincing case that there was a direct connection between fat consumption and heart disease. The fact that Keys chose to include only 7 countries and ignored the other 15 didn't go unnoticed. Many researchers criticized Keys for conveniently omitting data that didn't support his theory. When analyzing the data from all 22 countries, researchers found that the correlation between fat, cholesterol, and heart disease vanished. Cherry-picking the countries that proved the theory was only one of the many problems with the 7 countries study. Another researcher who questioned Keys was a British doctor named John Yudkin from the University of London. He found that in some countries the intake of fat was virtually the same, but the rates of cardiovascular disease were vastly different. For example, Finland had a high per capita fat intake and a high rate of heart disease, but Yudkin found that the people of West Germany ate the exact amount of fat as the people of Finland, yet they had about one-third the rate of heart disease. In addition, the Netherlands and Switzerland had only one-third the rate of heart disease seen in Finland, even though the Dutch and the Swedes consumed even more fat than the Finns. Fats you consume in your food, such as in red meat, dairy foods fried in cooking oils, are broken down into smaller chain fatty acids in the small gut. Fats in your food are present as triglycerides. They are broken down into monoglycerides by pancreatic lipase enzyme and emulsified with bile salts. Emulsification is required to make fatty acids water soluble. After absorption through the inner lining of the gut, that monoglycerides are converted into triglycerides again. These triglycerides are now packaged along with cholesterol molecules in phospholipid vesicles called chylomicrons. These chylomicrons through the circulatory system either go to the liver or stored in fat cells in the body. Fatty acids are then oxidized into CoA, which is used by the Krebs cycle in the liver. Let's talk about acetyl-CoA. Acetyl-CoA is a breakdown product of both carbohydrates and fats. Fatty acids go through a process of oxidation in the liver to produce acetyl-CoA. Carbohydrates are broken down to acetyl-CoA through a process of glycolysis. Acetyl-CoA from both enters HMG-CoA reductase pathway to produce cholesterol. So remember that cholesterol in eggs and seafood do not break down to acetyl-CoA and does not influence the blood cholesterol level. It is the carbs and fats through acetyl-CoA breakdown in the liver that gives rise to cholesterol through HMG reductase cycle and enters the bloodstream. This is basic and you must grasp this fact for life. Let's talk about keto diet. Each triglyceride molecule yields 3 fatty acids with as much as 16 or more carbons in each one. This molecule yields more energy than carbohydrates and are an important source of energy for the human body. Keto diet works on this principle that fats yield more energy than carbs and proteins, and when glucose levels are low in your blood, triglycerides can be converted into acetyl-CoA molecules and used to generate energy. Excess fatty acids as in keto diet, when converted to acetyl-CoA, the acetyl-CoA is diverted to create ketone bodies. These ketone bodies serve as a fuel source if glucose levels are too low in the body. This explains well how keto diet works and is so popular among the stars in the US. The bottom line is that it is the saturated fat contained in red meat, poultry with skin, lard, cream, butter, cheese, and cooking oils that forms cholesterol in the liver, which can influence the cholesterol level in your blood. The American Heart Association recommends aiming for a dietary pattern that achieves 5 to 6% of calories from saturated fat. For example, if you need about 2000 calories a day, no more than 120 of them should come from saturated fat. That's about 13 grams of saturated fat per day. Eating excess carbohydrates can also give rise to high cholesterol levels in your blood, just like fats. Carbohydrates are found in foods like ice cream, whole fruit and fruit juices, grains, bread, rice, crackers and cereals, legumes, beans and other plant-based proteins, starchy vegetables, potatoes and corn, sweet, sugary sweet, soda, candy, cookies and other desserts. These carbs also contribute to cholesterol manufacture in the liver that can raise your blood cholesterol level. Cholesterol in foods such as eggs and seafood, when consumed, are excreted in the liver through the bile salts for recycling. Such foods do not raise the cholesterol level in your blood. Hope this presentation was useful and for your daily healthy life and longevity. Thank you for watching.